Hello, friends, and welcome back to episode 6 of our Nier Replicant Let's Play. I am coming to you after I have had the most unfortunate thing that can happen to a Let's Player happen to me, which is that I recorded an entire session of this game, and...
Alright. He said their mom would be somewhere deep inside the mountain, right?
If I may ask, what is it that possesses you to meddle in the affairs of these children?
Yona and I both know what it feels like to miss your mother.
I realized after I finished the session, I completed all of Mom Quest, and I did not record anything. So, I thankfully had my other save file, and I quickly went through like 30 minutes of content, did that first find all the titanium alloy thing, and we are going to redo this part. I thought about just skipping it because I felt real bad when I saw that I couldn't stop recording because I never started recording. But despite this part of the quest, I think I mentioned last time that I think the junk heap is the... If I had to cut one part of the game, it would be this. I don't think that these characters really have a lot to do with the rest of the game, and they're not wildly interesting. But, are you gonna make me kill those? No, okay. After this part, I also went and did the next part of the game, which takes us back to the Aerie, and has to do with Kaine, and there's like a really good emotional scene there, and it's like one of the foundational parts of Kaine's character. This is in Kingdom Hearts, and like her relationship with Nier and Vice. So I didn't want to just not have that because it's so good and it's really well done. So I'm gonna replay this part. I might not have quite as much commentary. It'll be different than what it was. I won't have as much commentary on exactly what's happening. But you needed to see the minecart treadmill that we run in, where you have to run forward in order to make the minecart go. I couldn't deny you that experience. But yeah, I wanted to, like, if you are at all interested in the story, it's just a really important scene for the characters. And so I didn't want to cut that out. I could have just went back and recorded those scenes, but I don't think I want to do that much editing, so we'll see. I'm going to try and go through these parts kind of quickly, though, because I've already done them. And I did a little bit of other side quest stuff on my other save, so I'm going to finish this section of the game and then jump back to my other save when I catch back up to it. But yeah, so if I don't have as much to say about this, it's because I already talked about it for an hour in a different playthrough. So, yeah. A bit of a bummer, but at least we have the other save file to go back to, and there's something that I guess to be said, like I've said a number of times, this is the first Let's Play I've recorded, so I suppose there's something to be said for just getting the full experience of what it's like to make a Let's Play. It wouldn't really be fair if I didn't have that happen at some point. So now I guess I just know to be extra careful, and I'll probably, from this point onward, start alternating between which save files I'm using so that I have a backup in case it happens again. That's probably just good practice. So.
You can't possibly believe their mother managed to fight her way down here. Or, for that matter, that she has been collecting scrap metal for a solid week.
Ah.
Open your eyes, lad. The woman is clearly...
She's alive. Miracles don't happen if you don't believe in them, okay?
Miracles.
Miracles. Oh. Yeah, I mean, the saddest part about that session not getting recorded is that I made a bunch of extremely funny jokes, and I played so good. Like, I think I actually probably had new speedrun time for the area, and it's just really sad that you'll never get to see that. I definitely didn't mess up that particular jump 6 times, so... It's too bad you couldn't see me get it exactly right on the first try, even though it's a really hard jump. And here we're going to deliver some basement mail. I'm not going to overwrite my other save file, because that has side quest stuff on it.
Alert! Alert! Intruder detected. Unauthorized trespassers will be eliminated. Initiation. Trespasser site identified.
This bodes ill. It appears that only machines remain in this infernal place.
What's going on?
I always wish they would subtitle the, like, weird background voices. It's sad that they never do. Or rarely do in games and stuff. Here we go. It's Mario boss time, baby.
It's malfunctioning.
Yeah, this might be a problem.
Finger beams.
Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, I gotcha. Maybe this is a blessing, because when I did play through this section before, I messed up kind of a lot in this boss fight. I didn't die because you can just use healing items whenever you want.
No mere machine can defy us.
It was a little embarrassing how many
focused,
times I
Spice.
failed to hit what I was aiming at.
Don't let yourself
I don't
be
know if
crushed.
there was a lock-on in
you
the
think?
original game. I'm like thinking back to how this worked, and I don't know if you could actually aim at the weak points of these hands. I could totally be
It
wrong
would
on
seem
that.
magic
Like,
has
been
no
10 years
effect
since I
against
played
the
it.
head.
Yeah, I got it. I beat this like an hour ago.
Oh, what fun!
Oh, what fun!
What a troublesome piece of machinery.
Oh, come on, now what?
Clear them all out. That's the only way.
While we're just kind of replaying this content that I don't necessarily have a ton to say about, because I already talked about it in a thing you'll never get. So obviously, Nier Replicant has just been getting a ton of attention, just way more attention than it ever got when it first released. And I feel very strange about it. Like, I think this is part of why I wanted to record a Let's Play, is because I feel like my experience with this series doesn't really match up with, like, a lot of people. I think that there's, like, a couple different kinds of takes you see a lot coming out right now in reaction to this game.
This thing's got all kinds of moves.
All kinds of moves, which is, like, people who played Automata and are coming to Replicant for the first time because that game was really good and moving.
Now all that remains is that oversized head.
And then people who played the original Nier and loved it and, like, are kind of having their moment in the sun of, like, we've been telling you for 10 years that the original game was amazing and Yoko Taro's a genius and you didn't appreciate it until Automata came out.
It's working.
Unbelievable. Such
And
an
just, like,
obvious
there's,
weak
like,
point.
kind of an
It would
association,
seem
like, if you
magic
were
has no
really
effect
into
against the
Nier,
head.
then you got really into the Drakengard lore and all that stuff. And I feel like I had this kind of strange experience where I got really into Nier, And I did get really into the lore, and I read all of the Drakengard lore and everything. It's very interesting. Like, I was really interested. I already did it, Vice. How, like, these things connected. Like, it's so weird that this joke ending in Drakengard leads into this whole other video game series. If you go read about, like, the Nier timeline, like, there's enough extra stuff that's not included in the games to make a whole additional game. And I read all that stuff. I read all the short stories that were fan-translated. But, we missed. Then, Drakengard 3 came out on the PlayStation 3. And I realized that I don't... Like, I think that a lot of people assume that if you really like Nier, then you're a big Yoko Taro stan, like Yoko Taro being the creative director of the game. And I realized I'm really not. Like, I like Yoko Taro and think he makes, like, really interesting, bold swings, and, like, Nier obviously really affects me. But I realized playing Drakengard 3, I don't like any of Drakengard, like, basically at all. So I feel like I'm in this weird place where I'm like... We unlocked Dark Gluttony, which we're never going to use. Sorry, folks. I don't stand... Like, I like 50% of Yoko Taro, and the 50% that hits hard, but the other 50% are... And it's going to relate, I think, to this. Like,
It's
we'll
a
get
woman,
into it, but...
and she's dead.
I fear we have discovered the delinquent mother.
So who's this other person?
It's a male.
This bag has nice clothes in it. And money, too. Why would she bring this stuff here?
It would seem she abandoned her children to seek comfort in the arms of a swain.
A swain.
Oh, that's awful.
So much for miracles. Instead, we have discovered the worst possible truth.
I said this before, but I feel the need to point it out now. It's, I think, very sad that their mother made it all the way down here past all the security robots, met her fella, and died in this hallway, apparently.
What will you tell the children?
I don't know. What's this? A perfume bottle?
It smells of roses.
I guess we should bring this back to them. Where's Mom?
Oh gosh, she's in heaven now, or I couldn't find her. I told him the truth last time, and I think I'm gonna tell him the truth this time, which is that she's died, unfortunately.
She's in heaven now.
What?
It's true. Your mother's left this world.
You liar! I don't believe you! Did she die alone?
Well...
It's okay. I know all about it. Just tell me, did she die with the one she loved?
We found 2 bodies. It appears they left this life as one.
Okay. That's okay.
Come again?
Mom was always so frustrated, you know? Torn between her duty to us and her heart. I think maybe this is for the best.
Weird way to talk about her and her lover dying, but
Are
sure.
you saying you forgive her?
I mean, she's my mom, you know? The only one I'll ever...
We found this next to her.
This is Mom's perfume. It smells like her. Damn it. I can't let myself cry. If Gideon sees me like this...
Man.
I hope I did the right thing.
Hey, safe travels, okay? And thank you for everything.
Your actions were just. Never doubt it.
Okay. This actually is like a great example of what I'm talking about when I don't like all of Yoko Taro's work because like this specific segment and like a lot of I think the stuff Yoko Taro produces, and I'm saying Yoko Taro, and he's kind of associated with the narratives of this.
They've got shades there.
But other people are involved in the making of these
And we
things
may
and
just
probably
find
have
a
some degree of
sealed
input.
verse besides.
This whole section of like their mom's missing and she went down into the mines, and you're obviously thinking the same thing that like Vice is thinking. She's obviously dead. She got killed by these robots. And then the punch at the end is like, it's worse, actually.
Of course. I'd be
Like,
stupid not to.
she died, and
But I have
also
to
she
save
died
Fiona, no
while
matter
she was
what.
trying to abandon
I
her
see.
kids.
Then I won't try to
And
stop.
it's just,
You're a
like,
pretty
what
good
if
listener
it
for
was
such an
actually
old-timer,
even
Bryce.
sadder than the thing that you already
I
thought
should
was
be
sad?
offended.
And that's kind of there in, like, the quest that we saw where, like, we're looking for the, like, old man lost his dog, and you're like, obviously the dog's dead, and you find the dog, and the dog's dead, and has some medicine, and it's like, oh, the dog's probably getting medicine for his master, and it's just gonna feel even worse than it already does. Like, Yoko Taro likes to hit you with the sadness twice sometimes. And, like, based on, like, what I've read about Drakengard and my experience of playing Drakengard 3, is, like, those games are only that. Like, Drakengard 3 especially, it's like, what if it was just the worst thing possible and the people were the worst possible people? And I'm just not here for that.
Shades!
Kaine, she's being
How are
attacked.
you
We gotta
doing?
help her.
We thought you could use a hand.
Yes, and I do believe a heartfelt thank you is in order.
Yeah, that's not happening.
What could have caused these shades to appear in such force?
I don't know, but they're all over the village, too.
Then we need to go help. We might be able to find a sealed verse while we're at it.
And I've also, like, in addition to, like, Drakengard and Nier, I have played there's a mobile game called Sinnoh Alice. I don't know for sure that's how it's pronounced, and it's sort of like a twisted fairy tale kind of thing, with, like, Yoko Taro-esque character designs, and, like, a lot of the premise of those characters, like, there's Alice from Alice in Wonderland, and Little Red Riding Hood and stuff, and it's like, they were just the most extreme, grotesque versions of those stories, and that was it. Like, they didn't do anything. Oh, I love this. Let's save.
This is hardly the time to be writing letters.
Oh, never mind, I guess, because we can't write a letter right now. Too busy. Yeah, like, it's just, in a way, like, tragedy porn. Okay. Boss fight. And I think the reason I like Nier is that the characters in Nier,
Keep your guard
like the
raised.
protagonists, Grimoire
As
Weiss
if there
and
were
Nier
any other
himself,
choice.
feel like people. Like, they have very, like, human motivations, and sometimes they're taken to extremes,
Fucking asshole.
like, to make a point. But, like, Nier is, like, a kid trying his best, and Vice is this, he's, like, haughty in a way that's, like,
Goddamn
understandable,
eyes. Piss in the
but it's more
socks.
nuanced than that. Like, all of these characters have a lot of nuance.
I have never heard such a thing.
Kaine looks like
You must
your
hurry.
sexy anime lady character, but she, like, you know, she's got a mouth on her, and she actually ends up being even more than that. Like, she's not just, like, here to titillate or here to shock you with her violence. she's got like a whole arc, and we'll hopefully see more of that. And a lot of her motivations for why she's doing things are actually pretty nuanced and interesting. And I didn't really feel that in Drakengard, like especially Drakengard 3. Like I felt like I was just supposed to feel that. And if you don't give me something to latch onto with those feelings, it can't reach my heart. And that's, I think, what this game does really well. Like, it does a really good job of reaching my heart. Big punch magic! Just destroying these houses while we're at it. But in this boss fight, the Ares is going to be stripped bare. Hate to be those people.
I'll take care of the big one. You worry about the rest.
But yeah, and sort of like when I was listening to this podcast earlier with some folks who had never played Nier Replicant before, like the original Nier on the PS3, I was like struck with this like sense that, because they said a thing like there's some new content, and they're like, oh, I wonder what it's like to be a fan of the original Nier, like have been waving the flag for the series for 10 years. And like finally seeing people like really interested in it, talking about it, and to be like, yeah, I knew about it before, it was cool. But also like there's a whole new ending of this game, which they were saying was actually really cool. And like,
don't you dare call yourself human. Get out of our village.
What is wrong with you people? She's trying to help you.
Don't defend me.
But they were like musing on like what it'd be like. Like, is it cool that there's this extra ending that I think is really cool, or is it weird to have this game that you've loved for 10 years have stuff added to it? And like they were talking about getting into the lore and like, oh, maybe we should play Drakengard, we should really go all in on it. And like, you know, the Nier fans have been saying this for 10 years, and I'm like, I've never felt less like a fan of a thing, like less included when people talk about being a fan. Like I feel like I can't call myself a fan of Nier because I don't like Drakengard really at all. In some ways, I was worried to play Nier Automata because I thought that it was an accident that I liked Nier. Like, I didn't know if Yoko Taro would actually be able to do it again for me. And some of that experience is, like, I think a lot of people who were fans of the original Nier are, like, really excited to see Brother Nier, like the young one, because that was sort of Yoko Taro's original vision, and they don't like the sort of, like, forced appeal to Western audiences that was an older protagonist. Whereas when I played the game, I really liked the older protagonist. Like, I liked the way that he quipped with... Oh goodness, we're gonna die. Need to use those herbs. I liked the way that the older protagonist quipped with Grimoire Weiss. Because, like, Grimoire Weiss is this ancient, powerful tome, and older Nier is a dad with some, like, worldliness about him instead of this sort of fresh-faced little boy. And it's like just kind of inherently like feels like a different dynamic, and not a bad one. I thought it was very interesting. And I remember feeling like I wasn't sure how that was going to play off. And it does feel different in this game, like it really does. But I ended up, I like it. I like young Nier. I think he's
Damn
cool.
it! Quit running already.
And there's definitely parts we'll talk about, like Nier's relationship with other characters that are more nuanced.
All right, watch yourself.
I think because he's like closer in age to like Kaine and like characters we'll meet in the future, like I think that's gonna make some things interesting. But it does change things. I really like the original, and I kind of feel like if you're a true fan of Nier, you've been out wanting young Nier, like that's the real one. That's just sort of not my experience with the series at all, and it does feel like weirdly like I'm excluded from this group of fans. For this thing that I have liked and considered one of my favorite video games ever for the last 10 years. It's just like a weirdly alienating experience. I'm sure a lot of people have had that experience, but it's maybe the most I've ever felt that personally.
I won't. Soon Kaine and I will have it surrounded.
I've had like similar things with sort of Kingdom Hearts and like other things that have really neat communities built around sort of wild lore stuff. But this is definitely the most I felt like this. Like I don't, like a lot of people, like I feel like if you go all in on Nier, you're expected to go all in on Yoko Taro, and that is just not my experience with the series. So, that's what I have to say about that. Now we can kind of focus on this really good cinematic, because this is like, we're coming up on the scenes that I needed to re-record this for, because they're just really good and cool, like a really good moment for Kaine to shine.
This ends now, asshole.
We should join her.
Right.
Oh, I need to heal. I, like, just have not been paying attention to my health. I think while we're going to talk about, like, all or nothing, like, going in on a, like, Nier or the Drakengard franchise, I think there's some people, like, not everybody, obviously, but there's an expectation that, like, if you come to love Nier, you're gonna come to eventually love everything about it, including, like, its repetitive combat. You're gonna really see the meaning in needing to go grind for materials in the junk heap, despite the fact that there's not a lot of story there. That's also just not my experience. Like, I think that Nier Automata does a lot of those themes better, and that a lot of those things are just products of what video games were like when Drakengard was coming out, like in the PlayStation 2 area and early PlayStation 3, where we hadn't really figured out what we were going to fill an open world
It's
with.
great to have you on our side, Kaine.
Oh my god, shut up.
And even with the improved combat here, I'm just hacking and slashing and healing through attacks.
Look, just try and keep up, okay?
Oh my goodness.
I'm doing my best.
Like, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm appreciating the nuanced themes of this combat system. I'm just kind of pushing my way through it. And even, like, I'm doing it more right now because that's, like, I've already beat this boss last night. But that was my experience with the first Nier, was like, okay, I'm tired of this combat. I'm just gonna push my way through it because the story's really cool, like, after 10 hours. And here we fall off. This is why you don't build a city with no guardrails if you're going to build a flying city. And you can imagine how it must have felt to play this when it didn't even have, like, much of a combo system. Oh, goodness. If you don't, like, do enough damage to the individual parts before that little timer goes off, the health bar refills. Speaking of repetition, there's a lot of it in this game. There we go.
Kaine, it's me, Grandma. Oh, how you've grown.
Kaine, what's wrong?
Oh, it gladdens my heart to finally see you again.
Grandma?
Come, Kaine. Come to your grandma's side. You've been lonely for so long. So much pain, so much despair. Why go on living anymore? Kaine?
Is that it?
Hmm?
Are you finished yet?
Don't speak to your grandma like...
You're going to stop talking now. And then I'm going to slowly walk over to you, cram my hand inside your goddamn bitch-ass chest, and pull out your fucking heart!
God, Kaine's awesome.
My grandmother would never say that. She'd never tell me to give up on life. Never! I spent my entire life searching for a way to avenge her death. She gave me the strength to deal with this goddamn mutant body. Do you know how long I've been like this? How much I loathe myself?
So it's interesting, I think it's like interesting to bring up that like this shade is doing some kind of psychological manipulation that involves like actually communicating with Kaine, like this monster that we're fighting, that we're like all the other ones like seem kind of mindless. But this one like is communicating in some way.
Mounting a last desperate offensive
Like trying to trick
That attack's bad news.
Yeah, but that health bar is almost empty, so I think we're okay.
No.
I'm on it.
There we go. Double punch magic. Just Dracula'd him. Stole his blood, put him on a stake.
I think she intends to perish where she lies. And in truth, perhaps death is the greatest comfort we can offer her.
Oh, shut
That's
up,
not your
Vice.
decision. You don't get to decide who lives and who dies. She's alive. She has meaning and worth, and we're going to save her. Everyone has something to live for. Even Kaine. Even Yona.
Perhaps you should save your pretty words for her instead of wasting them on me.
Grandma, can I rest now? I'm so tired.
Kaine, over here! Don't give up! You're stronger than that! Don't you dare give up now!
This woman is more trouble than she's worth.
That's it! Come on! You're going to live, Kaine!
Live. What for?
What?
I had my revenge. And now it's over.
Oh, now, see here, this is rich.
Vice?
We helped you in some mad quest for vengeance, and now you think to bid us adieu? How can a fighter so skilled be cursed with such a thick head? A true warrior would fight. They would give all in the service of their friends.
Friends?
That's right. He's right. Kaine, we're friends now.
See here, that was hardly the point.
Okay, then what is the point? Kaine, we need your help. Will you fight with us?
Fool, you cannot simply ask her outright. There is a proper order to these matters. One must ease into the topic with carefully considered words before commencing
Crim it,
negotiations. Book? How dare you? I am Grimoire Vice, wielder of arcane...
Vice, then.
Do not abbreviate my name.
You're an ass. But you're right. I can't just live for revenge.
You mean you're coming with us?
These swords of mine need a true home. But you'll do for now.
That's uncomfortable that she just looked at me. We obtained Dark Phantasm, which is my favorite magic in this game.
So, Black Scroll got your sister, huh?
Yeah. And we need the sealed verses to cure her.
We assume.
Gotcha.
What is it?
Well, I'm not sure if this'll help, but I know a guy who has the same disease. He's a king, actually, and his kingdom has been trying to find a cure for a while. It's possible they may have something.
You think they may have discovered a cure?
I said it's possible. I didn't say it happened. Anyway, the place is called Facade. It's deep within the desert.
We should go check it out. If nothing else, we might be able to find some clues there.
Indeed. And if this proves successful, it would certainly make our task a good deal easier.
Okay, so now we got Kaine in the crew. And despite everything I was just ranting about, with like, you know, Yoko Taro's games being tragedy porn, I cannot help but smile when I see this, like, that exchange. I literally just played it last night, and I still, like, it made me very happy, to see that exchange between, like, Vice and Nier and Kaine, like, Kaine coming to. You see all of Nier's, like, Kingdom Hearts Sora-esque youthful exuberance and energy and the power of friendship, and Vice's over-eloquence and, like, sassiness, like, low-key sassiness, but, like, with
How
some...
does one reach the desert?
Like,
We need to head back to the
like
village,
there's heart
then
coming
leave
through
by
in
the east
that,
gate.
and
Imagine a tome
like
such
that
as
you could see
myself
all
will
the
find an
dynamic
arid
between
desert climate
him and Kaine
delightful.
coming through, and it's just really sweet. I like it so much. We're gonna run back to the village here, and then when I meet you next time, that's probably where we'll end the episode. When I see you next time, I will pick up on my other save file, and we'll do a little gardening, and yeah, can resume from there. But I'm sorry that this episode is a lot of just like me ranting about Nier and what it means to be a fan, but I think it's like important to talk about, or interesting to talk about, important to me, which is kind of what this Let's Play is supposed to be, like my experience with this game and sort of sharing that. So I hope you appreciate it. I hope it's at least a little bit interesting. I think that like talking about the specifics of why you like a thing
Hey,
isn't worthwhile.
What's up?
I'll wait outside.
What? Why? It's way safer inside the village.
It's fine. I like being alone. If you head out from another exit, I'll just meet you there.
You sure? I know Yona would be really excited to meet you.
Don't force the issue now. Her mind is clearly made up. Not everyone loves the company of others as much as you.
All right, I won't push it.
See you in a bit.
Okay, so I think we're gonna call it for today, and I'm probably gonna keep playing because I'm eager to get into more of this game now that we have Kaine as part of the crew. That'll be really exciting. But for you, this will probably end up coming out on a different day, or you watch it at a different time. So until I see you again, goodbye.